That's kind of intimidating. So I turned 30. After I had my fourth kid, I was like, okay, it's time. I want to challenge myself. I want to feel good. I was always I was an athlete. I played volleyball and cheerleading and what have you, but I was sort of like the skinny girl just with big boobs. And I was done with that. I wanted some more shape. I wanted more confidence, self esteem on that. So I did it just to say that I did. I hit the mile marker, had a bunch of kids, but I fell in love with it. That first show, I'd never even been to a show. I really didn't know what to expect. But you go through the prep and you put your body through things that you've never done before. And then the 15 seconds that you get on stage is an incredible feeling. I tell everybody my very favorite part is that first step onto the stage. That's it. That's go time. So I did the first one and it turned out I was kind of good at it. I was pretty underdeveloped being a newbie, but I ended up winning the overall. So I was like, shit, I kind of like this. I like the people. I think I'm kind of good at it. So I did another show a couple weeks later and same thing, won the overall there. So the more I got into it, the more I fell in love with the whole culture of it. It's the lifting, it's the diet, it's the discipline, the people. I've made some of my best friends in this sport. It's almost addicting. I was all in from that point. That was it.
Yeah, bodybuilding is, like I said, it's a tough sport. You have to. My interaction with a lot of you ladies who compete, especially in IB, NPC, there's a lot of sacrifices you got to put into it, and then get it to it at 30. I heard some of our ladies who get into like mid to life when they realize, what, they want to make a change for themselves, physically, or just something that they always wanted to do. What was the first show for you, and what was that experience like? First time on stage, just in front of everybody.
What was funny? I went up to the line and I had rehearsed this over and over and over. But I walked out from backstage, walked up to the line, and I stood there. I just kind of looked. It was a surreal moment. I was like, I'm up here, I'm doing this. And I completely forgot to pose. So my husband was behind the judges and he's going, pose, pose. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to do shit. I got to do stuff up here. It really, really was a surreal experience. That first time, I think, I went through my quarter turns, came out and did my routine. I tripped over my feet on the way out. I wasn't really nervous, but I was so excited. I was riding a high the entire time. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has the experience with their first time doing a show. I know one lady told me that her first time she got a little tipsy because her nerves, and then
Yeah.
especially if you're someone who's been in a position where you are used to be judged, like like sports like figure skating, even there's like cheerleading competitions where you get judged, because you was a cheerleader before, and I think that experience is really tough for anybody to get into, especially you're on a stage, you're partially naked and you got these lights shining on you, and you got these crowd looking at you. You got your husband in the back. He's going, hey, we gotta keep posing, yeah. But that's good that he's there to support you. And
Yeah.
we got here my man here, KL the Wanderer. Shout out to him. He just came through. He says this. He says, "Hey George and Crystal. Hey brother." Also,
Hey.
he says, keep up the good work. And that's pretty good. Thank you, brother. Shout out to him. As you know, I said again, the link for the interviews in the description. Watch out live. So, you mentioned your husband. What's his name? How long y'all been together?
Oh, his name's Eric, and we're about to celebrate 7 years of marriage in April.
Oh, 7 years. That's nice. When did y'all meet?
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. So we actually went to middle school together and we ended up going our separate ways. He was married to someone else. I was married to someone else. He went away to the army. I did my thing. We both ended up divorced. Life happens, right? About the same time. He came home on leave to see his best friend who we weren't dating and hadn't went that far yet, but we were kind of hanging out, seeing if anything was there, right? So he asked his buddy, "What's up with you and Crystal?" And he's like, "Nothing." So that was it. We spent just that evening together with a group of our friends, and he ended up making secret trips home from Colorado to see me out in California because we weren't really ready to share that with friends, and we were kind of working through our own divorce stuff too. So we took it slow. He was gone in the army for the first year and a half. I went out to see him in Germany. It was a really, really unique dating experience, but it worked for us. and he ended up getting out of the Army, coming, we'll say, home here to California with me. And that was about 8 years ago now.
Mhm. Well, to your husband, as he served our country, I don't say thank you for your service. I say I appreciate the sacrifice he's made as a citizen for our country. Because I had my oldest niece and my youngest nephew served in the army, and I know family and friends that it's tough, especially lucky that he got out before y'all got married, because it's tough to be an army spouse since you got to travel here and there, and then kids, they try to get used to being home and then moving around. And he also, I saw that look at social media, also competes. So is he? I know mentioned that he's planning on competing sometime this year, or he's thinking he's going to do next year.
Well, so he did. It's been almost 3 years since he's been on the stage. He's a classic competitor. But we recently acquired a new business in the last year. So his focus has really kind of shifted from bodybuilding to building that up to a healthy point. And it's almost there. He's got some flexibility. So he's training with me again. He's always been my training partner. Um, so he's getting in the gym pretty regularly, 5 days a week, almost every single week. So we're kind of thinking, we're just talking about this, maybe another 18 months or so. He's got some size to put back on. That shift to business, he lost about 20 pounds. So we're building him back up before he gets back on, but it's coming. He'll be back.
Well, like I said, it's a process with bodybuilding. What I've learned, you take the time, to grow. And I know it's important to develop your business and to help in your futures and your family's future. So, what's your business and how long you been doing?
So we've done our online coaching for a long time, but what he's gotten into is metal roofing and seamless gutters. So he's actually acquired his uncle's company, which has been a huge blessing. But as you can imagine, it's time consuming. That's really where his effort has been. I kind of joke with him, he's my sugar daddy right now, so I can keep competing. So it's been a really good shift for our family. But, he just needs the time and attention span to come back to it.
Yeah, it's important to focus on the business. But like I said, bodybuilding is always going to be here. I know people talk about. I have people tell me that, oh, bodybuilding's going to drop one day, yeah, yeah. But as long as there's people who want to compete and to prove themselves as athletes, the sport's here for you. So, what now? A lot of competitors. Did you start like I know a lot of ladies when they got into it, they said they got into bikini. Was figure your first choice, or did you start out in bikini?
Figure was my first choice. I really never had any interest in bikini. I'm 5'8", and I think I was about 128 pounds when I first started. For reference, I'm 160 today. So I put on a lot of size, and when I first started, I was just kind of a fit girl. I was becoming kind of lean. You could see some muscle in there. And my coach at the time had said, do you want to do bikini? And I said, no. And he said, why? And I said, because it doesn't call to me. It doesn't fit my personality. It doesn't fit the way I move. The aesthetics of it, it's just not what I wanted. I wanted a little more muscle mass. And at the time, wellness was relatively new. I do not have a wellness shape. So we kind of skipped right over that figure. It was an easy choice. I really didn't have to put any thought into it.
Yeah, I know with bikini, my opinion of the division, I've interviewed some competing competitors, both amateurs and pros. My opinion of it is like, I mean, it doesn't really excite me like that. You
Not
ladies in
to,
figure,
yeah.
yeah, you
It's
ladies in
got
figure,
respect, but it doesn't call to me. I watch it. We've got clients that do it, so we watch them obviously and support them and learn the sport. But it just never grabbed me.
yeah. I know with figure, y'all ladies still have that great muscle aesthetics. I mean, it's kind of like a throwback to when bodybuilding started out. It started out like figure, in
Yes.
the early '70s, and it evolved over a period of time to what it is now. Like every sport evolves. Here we got my man Joe Camp coming through. Joe, welcome. He says this. He says, "Hi, Crystal. Hope you are having a great day. Is it possible if we can get a bicep flex? Why are you asking that? I usually,
And
you don't have to
I'm put
do
on
it.
the spot like that.
You don't have to do it. I didn't
Did I
really
do
read
it,
the
George?
whole. That's up to you. I usually if he was new, I just but I usually don't ask for it, but unless you want to, that's up to you.
I'll do it. I'm not shy. I'm not
Yeah,
shy.
go ahead,
All
go
right.
ahead. There you go, guys. There you go, Joe. You got your bicep flex. Okay, now you put with your lotion, your tissue, you're good. So, so also we got here from our man KL. He says this. He says bikini is a little bit like vanilla ice cream. You want to add some flavors. Yes,
Okay, like that.
maybe put a little Rocky Road on it. Put a little nuts. A little chocolate, something like that. But like I said, everybody finds that division that works for them
Yeah,
and really helps them in their process. And also, many athletes have evolved. Like there's some ladies who started out in bikini, they go to figure, and they go up to physique, and even go as far as women's bodybuilding. And as you know, wellness. One thing about division, if you don't have those strong Afro aesthetics, the bigger hips, the thicker thighs, it's a lot harder for some women because
yeah,
you got to put a lot more work in that one, especially the leg part of it. They want that presentation like top of like a bikini competitor, but a little bit bottom of like maybe physique or women's bodybuilding.
hmm
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It just I don't have that build. I'm not the, bigger waist, bigger hips, those beautiful quads and glutes. I've had to work really hard for my glutes and they're still not wellness glutes.
Yeah, no, it's tough. So you did nationals. What was that feeling for you when, after all this time competing, they told you you're now IFBB pro?
You know, I talked a little bit about this with Ed, and sometimes I get embarrassed when I look back at the video because I was so focused. When I'm up there, I'm dialed, and internally, I'm loving it. I'm having the time of my life. There's nowhere else I would rather be. But I'm also very diligent and intentional about what I'm doing. So when I'm on stage, I'm just focused, man. I'm on go mode. So we're up there in the line, and when they called my number, it took me a second to go, holy crap, I just won my class. I just beat 16 people in my class. Whoa, okay. And so my face is almost very stoic because I just hadn't really accepted that that just happened. I was still working. So I almost look pissed off. That's where it's kind of embarrassing. And in my heart, I'm just exploding. But it was a moment I didn't really know what to feel. I didn't know how to react. So I just, okay, let's go. Let's go get the medal. So now I'm a lot more comfortable on stage, and I don't know what kind of reaction I would have with the win now, but hopefully it's not quite as business like.
Well, everybody's experience is different. I've seen ladies who, especially they compete for a long time, competing to try to get to the IFBB, they feel like it's like the greatest thing that ever happened to them. They can break down and cry. Everybody has a different feeling because you know what, you put in the work and the time to get to this level. And I've interviewed some ladies who turned pro recently, and were just so excited about it because this is opportunity for them. They worked hard to get here, and you know what? Everybody's going to have a different feeling or experience. It's not going to be the same for one person to the next, but it can be overwhelming. But also, it's just you feel like I accomplished something that most people won't be able to do because it's tough. We have here my man KL. Shout out to KL. He says this. He says, he says, nobody is forcing you, Crystal, but but you, good flex. He likes to see the flexing. It's my
Love
man
it.
Stefan Prey coming through. He says, good afternoon. Are you competing this season? Oh, thank you, Stefan. That's a question. So, what's the plan this season? Are you because it's been about 2 years since you last competed, and almost
Yeah.
3 years since you got your pro card. So what's the plan for 2025?
So my coach Shane and I decided to take Shane Hughley. We took a long off season. Then we had to bring up a lot of weakness, whole posterior really, but we put a lot of emphasis on my back. So tentatively, up until 2 days ago, we were going to launch with Legion Sports Fest on June 1st. However, they just put out the divisions and there's no figure at Legion this year. So I know I was heartbroken. I love that show. I love Chris Menes. I'm partial to Center Podium. And I was like, what? I text Shane and I'm like, look at this. Can you believe this? And I really wanted to text Chris, but I didn't. So now I don't know. We originally had plans to hit maybe 4 or 5 shows, and I think we'll still do that. Um, Shane wants to be strategic in where we're going. So truthfully, I really don't know yet. I haven't started any cardio or cut calories or anything. We're just kind of cruising right now. So we'll see. We'll see. I've got a few ideas that I'll kind of float with him this week, but nothing solid on the table.
That's a shocker because I know they dropped Wayne Physique from the Legion because I interviewed Yvonne Pennington, who she was the last physique competitor one. She won it back in 2022, her Olympic
Okay.
qualification. I interviewed the day before, and then she posted that they dropped Win Physique, but I didn't get figure. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I just I don't know what's going on. As you know, I talk about this because I do talk about. I might even talk about this on my. I do a podcast on Monday. Most talk Mondays. I might mention it. I have interviewed a few figure competitors here and there. The last one competitor was a lady who you both on your pro card same year. That's Kaylee Walker.
Yeah.
Back in nationals, I interviewed her, and that's just wow. I mean, as you know, back in I think it was like almost 3-4 years ago, they did drop figure from the Arnold Classic,
I
physique
remember.
and figure. Yeah,
Yeah.